6 communication mistakes that make you look weak. Fix these now. Did you know that recent research suggests that even the most confident individuals can unknowingly fall into common communication traps, leaving them vulnerable to manipulation and emotional abuse? Consider this. Studies have shown that poor communication habits can lead to a loss of respect and authority in personal relationships, especially when dealing with toxic personalities like narcissists. Have you ever wondered why your conversations sometimes leave you feeling drained, or why you find yourself constantly apologizing even when you haven't done anything wrong? Today, we're going to delve deep into the world of communication, exploring 6 critical mistakes that can make you appear weak, and how you can fix these issues immediately to reclaim your power, particularly in relationships where narcissists are involved. Before we get started, I'd like to invite you to join our community of empowered individuals by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with anyone who might be struggling with communication challenges and toxic relationships. Your support is invaluable. It helps us spread awareness about these destructive patterns and equips more people with the tools they need to break free from manipulation. In the next few minutes, we'll unpack these communication mistakes through the lens of psychological research and clinical insight, showing you how a psychologist would analyze and address these issues in real-life scenarios. So, if you're ready to transform your communication and build stronger, more resilient relationships, let's dive right in. One of the most damaging mistakes you can make in any relationship is allowing yourself to be reactive. When you engage in knee-jerk responses to criticism or provocation, you inadvertently give power to those who seek to manipulate you. Narcissists, in particular, thrive on emotional reactivity. They carefully craft their words to provoke anger, guilt, or even sympathy, knowing that any reaction from you confirms their control over the situation. Imagine a scenario where a narcissistic partner or colleague makes a subtle backhanded comment about your work or appearance. If you immediately respond with defensiveness or hurt, you're essentially providing the narcissist with the validation they crave. Psychologists often emphasize that true strength in communication lies in the ability to remain calm and composed. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a moment to breathe and assess the situation objectively. This simple act of emotional regulation can be incredibly disarming to a narcissist, whose power is built on inciting chaos and emotional turmoil. Another common mistake is over-apologizing. Many individuals, especially those who have been conditioned to doubt themselves by narcissistic abuse, have a habit of apologizing even when they are not at fault. Over-apologizing sends a clear signal that you are willing to accept blame without question, reinforcing the narcissist's narrative that you are the problem. In reality, constantly saying, "I'm sorry," undermines your authority and erodes your self-confidence. A psychologist would advise you to develop assertiveness techniques that allow you to express regret when it is genuinely warranted, without automatically assuming responsibility for everything that goes wrong. Instead of a reflexive apology, try acknowledging your feelings and expressing them clearly. "I understand you're upset, but I feel hurt when my intentions are misunderstood." This approach not only preserves your dignity, but also encourages more balanced communication. The third communication mistake to avoid is passive behavior. Being too passive in your interactions, letting others make decisions for you, or failing to express your own opinions and desires, can make you appear weak and unassertive. Narcissists are particularly adept at taking advantage of passivity because it makes it easier for them to dominate the conversation and dictate the terms of the relationship. In many cases, passive behavior stems from a fear of conflict or a deep-seated belief that your thoughts and feelings aren't as important as someone else's. However, effective communication requires that you assert your needs and set clear boundaries. A psychologist might recommend practicing I statements, such as "I feel" or "I need," to communicate your feelings directly and honestly. By doing so, you not only assert your own identity, but also force the narcissist to confront the reality of your independence, which can be deeply unsettling for them. A fourth critical mistake is the tendency to minimize your own needs in favor of pleasing others. Narcissists excel at making you feel that your needs are secondary or even irrelevant. They might twist your desires, suggesting that you are being selfish or overly demanding when you simply ask for basic respect and consideration. This pattern of self-neglect is dangerous because it gradually erodes your self-esteem and makes it even more difficult to stand up for yourself. In healthy relationships, both parties should feel valued and heard, but in a dynamic with a narcissist, your needs are constantly overshadowed by their insatiable demands for validation. Psychologists stress the importance of self-care and self-advocacy in these situations. When you begin to prioritize your own needs, by scheduling time for yourself, setting clear boundaries, and learning to say no, you send a powerful message that your well-being is non-negotiable. This not only strengthens your self-worth, but also undermines the narcissist's attempts to control you. The fifth mistake that can make you look weak is allowing your body language and non-verbal cues to betray your uncertainty. In any communication, what you don't say can be as important as what you do say. Nervous gestures, a lack of eye contact, or an overall defensive posture can signal to a narcissist that you are vulnerable and unsure of yourself. They are quick to pick up on these cues, and they use them to further their agenda of control. A psychologist would advise practicing mindful body language, maintaining steady eye contact, adopting an open and relaxed posture, and speaking with a calm and assertive tone. These non-verbal signals not only reinforce your verbal messages, but also project confidence, making it more difficult for a narcissist to exploit your perceived weaknesses. The sixth and final communication mistake is engaging in emotional reactivity during conflicts. Narcissists are experts at pushing your buttons to elicit a strong emotional response, and when you react with anger, frustration, or even sadness, you give them exactly what they want. This reactivity fuels their sense of control and validates their belief that they can manipulate your emotions at will. Instead of falling into the trap of emotional reactivity, it's crucial to practice self-regulation techniques that allow you to remain calm, even in the face of provocation. Techniques such as deep breathing, pausing before responding, or even taking a short break from the conversation can help you maintain your composure. A psychologist would emphasize that the ability to control your emotions is one of the most potent defenses against narcissistic abuse. When you remain cool and collected, you not only protect yourself, but also strip the narcissist of the emotional fuel they depend on to assert their dominance. As we discuss these 6 common communication mistakes, it becomes clear that the key to overcoming narcissistic manipulation lies in transforming your approach to communication. Instead of engaging in cycles of reactive behavior, over-apologizing, or passivity, you must focus on building assertiveness, setting firm boundaries, and most importantly, validating yourself. The ultimate goal is to reclaim your power so that you are no longer a source of narcissistic supply. When you do this, you change the dynamics of the relationship, forcing the narcissist to confront the reality that they cannot control you anymore. Let me share a critical insight that I've observed as a psychologist. True strength in communication is not about winning arguments or asserting dominance through loud, aggressive behavior. Rather, it is about maintaining a sense of inner calm and self-assurance that renders manipulative tactics ineffective. The narcissist's power is built on the ability to elicit strong emotional responses from you. Every time you allow your emotions to dictate your reactions, you inadvertently reinforce their control. Conversely, when you master the art of emotional detachment and clear, confident communication, you begin to disarm the narcissist. It's not an easy process. It takes time, practice, and a commitment to self-growth. But every step you take toward assertiveness chips away at their power until, eventually, they are left with nothing. Imagine a scenario where, instead of being drawn into a heated argument when your narcissistic partner criticizes your actions, you take a moment to breathe, gather your thoughts, and respond with measured calmness. Picture yourself using I statements to assert your feelings, stating, "I feel hurt when my opinions are dismissed," rather than reacting with anger. This subtle yet powerful shift in communication not only protects your emotional well-being, but also undermines the narcissist's manipulative tactics. Over time, as you consistently refuse to give in to their provocations, you will notice a significant change in the dynamic of your relationship. The narcissist, deprived of the emotional reactions that once fueled their need for control, will begin to retreat. Their attempts to manipulate will lose their impact, and you will emerge stronger, more resilient, and more self-assured. The process of transforming your communication habits and reclaiming your power is not instantaneous. It requires ongoing effort and self-reflection. Many people who have been caught in the web of narcissistic abuse often find themselves stuck in a loop of emotional reactivity, where every slight or criticism feels like a personal attack. Over time, these reactions can erode your self-esteem and leave you feeling even more vulnerable. But by recognizing these pitfalls and actively working to change your response patterns, you can break free from the cycle of manipulation. It is a gradual process, one that involves building up your inner strength, seeking support from trusted friends or therapists, and continually reminding yourself that your worth is not determined by someone else's approval. One of the most effective strategies I have observed as a psychologist is the practice of mindfulness. By cultivating a state of mindfulness, you become more aware of your emotions and better able to manage your reactions in real time. This awareness enables you to pause before you react, to consider the situation from a more objective perspective, and to choose responses that align with your true self rather than with the narcissist's agenda. This kind of emotional regulation is crucial when dealing with individuals who are intent on controlling every interaction. With practice, you can develop a calm, centered approach to communication that not only protects your well-being, but also gradually undermines the narcissist's ability to provoke you. Another critical aspect is the cultivation of a strong support system. Narcissists thrive on isolation, and one of their primary tactics is to sever your connections with those who might offer you genuine support and perspective. Whether it's friends, family, or professional networks, having a robust support system can serve as a vital counterbalance to the narcissist's manipulative efforts. When you surround yourself with people who value and respect you, you create a buffer against the emotional onslaught that narcissistic abuse can bring. This support not only reinforces your self-worth, but also provides you with the external validation that a narcissist desperately seeks to monopolize. In the long run, a strong support network can help you maintain the emotional distance necessary to protect yourself from further harm. It's important to remember that these communication mistakes are not just about how you interact with a narcissist. They are reflective of deeper patterns that may have been reinforced over time. The cycle of over-apologizing, passive behavior, emotional reactivity, and self-neglect can create an environment where the narcissist's toxic influence flourishes. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward changing them. The journey to self-empowerment begins with understanding that you have the power to control your own emotions and responses. By mastering your reactions, setting firm boundaries, and focusing on your own growth, you begin to reclaim the energy that the narcissist has been siphoning from you for so long. The impact of adopting these strategies is profound. Over time, as you become more confident and assertive, the narcissist's attempts to manipulate and control you become less effective. Their carefully crafted tactics, which once left you feeling broken and powerless, gradually lose their grip. This shift in power dynamics is not just a victory over the narcissist. It is a reclaiming of your own identity. When you stop allowing their behavior to dictate your emotional state, you take back the narrative of your life. You learn to value your own opinions, to trust your own judgment, and to set boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. This transformation is the ultimate goal, not just surviving narcissistic abuse, but thriving in its aftermath. Let me share a compelling example that encapsulates these ideas. Consider a man who spent years in a relationship with a narcissistic partner who constantly undermined his self-esteem and manipulated his emotions. At first, he tried to engage in every argument, every criticism, hoping that if he could just prove his worth, the narcissist would change. But no matter how much he argued, her manipulative tactics only deepened his doubts. Eventually, he began to adopt a different approach. He started to practice mindfulness, set clear boundaries, and focused on self-improvement rather than engaging in endless conflicts. Slowly but surely, he noticed a shift. The narcissist's attempts to provoke him began to lose their impact, and her need for control started to diminish. Over time, her behavior became erratic and desperate as she realized that she was no longer the sole source of his emotional validation. This turning point was not marked by a dramatic confrontation, but by a gradual reclaiming of his power, a quiet, persistent refusal to be manipulated. And as his confidence grew, so did her inability to maintain her facade. In the end, her influence over him evaporated, and he emerged as a stronger, more resilient person, free from her toxic grip. This transformation, observed and supported by clinical research, highlights a fundamental truth. The true measure of strength lies in your ability to control your own emotions, to set boundaries, and to refuse to provide narcissists with the validation they crave. The journey to dismantle the narcissist's control is neither quick nor easy. It requires constant vigilance and an unwavering commitment to your own emotional health. Every day is a battle against the lingering effects of their manipulative behavior and the internalized doubts that such abuse can leave behind. Yet, with every instance where you choose not to engage, every time you resist their attempts to provoke a reaction, you take a small step toward freedom. Over time, these small acts of defiance accumulate, creating a robust shield against further manipulation. This is the essence of psychological resilience, a concept that I have seen transform lives in clinical practice. By building this resilience, you not only protect yourself from immediate harm, but you also prepare yourself for a future where toxic relationships no longer have a place in your life. It is crucial to understand that the narcissist's collapse is not achieved through direct confrontation or aggressive arguments. In fact, attempts to confront a narcissist head-on often result in escalation, as their primary defense mechanism is to deflect and manipulate any challenge to their authority. Instead, the strategy that truly works is one of calm detachment, an unwavering commitment to your own emotional well-being that leaves them with no choice but to retreat. When you no longer provide the emotional reactions that they depend on, their manipulative tactics lose their power. The narcissist's strength is an illusion, built on a fragile foundation that crumbles in the absence of constant validation. And it is in these moments of emotional detachment that you begin to see the truth. You are far stronger than they ever imagined, and your ability to maintain your composure is the key to breaking their control. To wrap up, let's revisit the central theme. The power to make a narcissist collapse lies in your ability to reclaim your own emotional sovereignty. The narcissistic woman or man who once dominated your life with charm and manipulation will eventually find that their control is only as strong as the emotional energy you allow them to have. When you adopt strategies like emotional detachment, firm boundary setting, and self-validation, you chip away at their power until it eventually crumbles. Their harmful behaviors, whether expressed through love bombing, devaluation, gaslighting, or outright abuse, are simply manifestations of their deep-seated insecurities and relentless need for validation. And while they may try to hold on to that power, the more you invest in your own healing and growth, the less influence they have over you. In conclusion, if you've ever found yourself caught in the tumultuous cycle of narcissistic abuse, remember that the key to your freedom lies within you. Every time you choose not to react, every moment you assert your boundaries, you send a powerful message to the narcissist. You are not their puppet, and you refuse to be manipulated any longer. The collapse of their control is not a matter of revenge. It is a natural consequence of reclaiming your power. As you continue on your journey of healing, you will find that the narcissist's influence fades into insignificance, leaving you with the strength to build a life defined by self-respect, genuine love, and true emotional freedom. If you found this video insightful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who might be struggling with narcissistic abuse or toxic relationships. Your support is invaluable. It helps us spread awareness about these destructive patterns and empowers more people to reclaim their emotional freedom. I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, as your story might be the beacon of hope that someone else desperately needs. And if you're interested in learning more about how to set healthy boundaries, heal from toxic relationships, and rebuild your self-worth, be sure to check out our next video on emotional recovery and self-empowerment. Stay strong, stay empowered, and always remember, the power to reclaim your life is always within your reach. I'll see you in the next video.